Hey Joanne, this is Lisa from Crystallized Life on Etsy, and I have your one card oracle reading ready. And again, thank you for allowing me to be the conduit of messages for your question about relationships. I love what I do, and once in a while I do like to gift readings to people, at no charge, just because it's just part of my learning process and showing like the divine or my soul that I am willing to do service to others, which I feel is really important at this time. Plus, I love doing it. So, all right. So your question was about your current relationship, and you kind of wanted to know what we would see that you should be looking out for in this relationship. And that could go either way. That could be, you could be looking out for good things in this relationship so that this is a good and a true relationship that you should be in. And that can also go the other way, which is seeing signs that might be deal breakers, or just even things that are coming through for this would be just kind of like choosing the same kind of guy. Like some of us have done that, probably most of us have, choosing the same kind of person because maybe we didn't learn the lesson the first 5 times with our, like 5 different people or whatever, one other person. And sometimes that lesson keeps coming back around, and we tend to gravitate then to those kind of people that treat us a certain way. And then it's for us to learn, do we stay? Do we learn, maybe part of it's our fault? There's things we're doing, or it could be things they're doing that you just learn are just absolute deal breakers for you. Even if you're considering loving somebody totally unconditionally, there are just some things obviously that don't work, but also just you learning a lesson and choosing that same type of person, and then, figuring it out, working through it, doing what you need to do on yourself so that you can relate better to that person will just instantly then solve that life lesson. And then you can move on in that relationship from that point, okay? Or not, depending on what you want to do. So what I got for you, and I did email you the card, is from a deck I was called to use called Light Worker Oracle. What I did was I used a pendulum. I don't know if you've ever used one. Everybody can basically use them. So I had 2 decks in mind, and it went to the Lightworker Oracle, and I said, is this the best, message for Joanne dealing with her relationship at this time? So I went with that. Then what I do is I ask, the question or the intention that you want answered, and I shuffle the cards. And then basically what usually ends up happening is one flies out of the deck as you're shuffling them and you're thinking of the question. And that's what I always go with, So what I got for you, as you see in the email, it's called number 10, Power of the Divine Masculine. Sometimes it's fun to look into the numerology of the number 10. 10 also equals 1. That's a very auspicious and wonderful number, but you can look that up on your own because I did not do that for you. I probably should have. Power of the Divine Masculine. And what I can tell you about the Divine Masculine is all of us have we have 2 different energies, Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine. And that's just, one is more Divine Masculine is what allows us to take action, to take decisive action, okay? And that doesn't mean aggressively like a guy. It just means that's the Divine Masculine energy. It's the taking the action, not aggressively or angrily, though, not that kind of action. It's the Divine Masculine is based on an open, loving, and faith-based actions that we all take, whether we're a woman or a man. And then the Divine Feminine is more of the receiver, very nurturing. It's just more of it's more of like receiving energy, where the masculine is the action energy, okay? If that makes sense. It's also called the yin and the yang. You've probably heard that before. It's a duality that all of us have, and sometimes some of us have more than the other, and sometimes we don't want to even ever take actions. We don't want to ever, have to make a decisive action for our own lives, okay? And so we need to learn to balance those 2 energies out and use them both in loving and caring ways, especially in relationship. So there's 2 ways to look at this card that you received, okay? So we can look at your Divine Masculine energy that you're using in your life. But then I also feel it's important to look at, because you're saying, what should you look out for in the relationship or with this person? So I think we should use the divine masculine also to help you determine what traits you should look for in somebody that is going to be a long-term partner, the right fit for you. Again, soulmates are anyone who comes into our life, whether it be for a good experience, a loving experience, a joyful experience, and sometimes they can be partially joyful and they also can be challenging, but that's because our soul chooses those situations, so we learn and grow from them on both ends for both people in the relationship, okay? So let's first talk about what you should look for in this current partner or any partner in life. Now, these are just generally speaking, these are divine masculine traits, okay? But if you are wondering, these are things you should look for. Okay, divine masculine energy traits, if you're looking at a male partner, would be one that is very responsible, okay? They take responsibility. Let me see here. I will read the card to you, but when I read the card to you, that part is going to be more about you, okay? So right now I'm going by just divine masculine energy, okay? So being responsible for you and for his own decisions in life, okay? So that would be, so he's looking for ways basically to take on more responsibility for your well-being, responsibility for your health, for your safety, for your finances, and your personal growth, okay? Not only his own, of course, he wants to take responsibility for those in himself as well, but also for you in the relationship. So something, a responsible, divine masculine energy guy or female, I don't know what your situation is, so I should never assume, maybe the partner, I'll just call it the partner, whomever that is, would be creating more abundance for him or herself, right? So that he or she would have an overflow, okay, of abundance, like financial, whatever it would be, to take responsibility for caring for you, okay? And I don't know your age, and sometimes too, the younger the person in relationship with is, some of these traits can come out later in life, but this is just giving you something to look for now if you're looking for a balance to your divine feminine energy, okay? And then if you notice what I just said about being responsible for your well-being is also a very nurturing energy, which I find like there's a balance. So there's a balance even with this other person of giving and caring and nurturing for you, but also caring and nurturing for themselves by being responsible. Okay, another one would be like somebody who's solution-oriented. So he wants to always find solutions, or she, I'm sorry. If I just say he, it's because I'm thinking about the masculine energy. So just use it however it works for you and your relationship. So the divine masculine will share himself with his divine feminine, okay? So like that would be the partner that like no topics, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. Sorry, skip that part. Okay, solution. So he should never take a growth opportunity away from you if that growth opportunity is something that you personally desire to reach your goals, okay? That's like solutions oriented. So he's always thinking of your needs for whatever that is, whatever, say it was you wanted to take a class and it was, on the weekends when you spend time with him, instead of him having a fit and pouting, or her having a fit or pouting, he would see that this means something to you and it's going to help you reach your goals for your career. So he could put himself aside and say, okay, totally do it. I'm right behind you. We'll make time on Sunday night, or we'll make time during the week to be together because I want you to have your goals come true. Okay. And also this can be for that person to be able to be responsible enough to solve his or her own problems and also assist you when you ask them for their help. They're willing to, offer solutions if you ask. Now, I know sometimes partners like to offer that even if you're not asking, and that's okay too, as long as they understand that, the decision, the solution is yours to make, okay? And of course, then you would also, because we're talking yin and yang, the opposites there. You would also do the same for that person on their growth journey. Okay, so you would be understanding as well. This is something to think about for our own way of acting in the relationship. Okay, but that is a divine masculine energy. Okay, another one would be, I'll give them all to you at first, and then we'll kind of dive in. So being responsible, being solutions oriented, being protective of you, within reason, of course. We don't want like a stalker, giving and providing, the balance of that, able to be vulnerable with you, okay? Action oriented, because that definitely is a masculine energy, a boundary setter, a pursuer. So that would be, and then also like, I don't know if I said courageous. Of course, that's a really, good way to be. Adventurous. Those are all things that, logical is another one. So now let's dive into a couple more really quickly. I don't want to take too long here. Somebody that's vulnerable, your partner, watch for someone who can actually be okay with being vulnerable around you. So that means he's going to like share himself with you. No topic. It will be off limit. Of course, there's always a few that sometimes it takes a while before they want to open up about. But he's able to speak his truth, his true mind to you. He doesn't feel he has to hide anything. He might not always, or he or she might not always understand your thought process, but he's still staying open for the fact that you are uniquely you. Just like if you look at snowflakes, no two snowflakes, the intricacy of a snowflake, if you really look at them, is beautiful. So if you think of every single human being or being on this planet, each one is so unique that we really can't put people in boxes, and we really can't tell them to act a certain way. And this person would then would understand that. He would appreciate that, or he or she would appreciate that way, that you are the way you are, and you have your unique way of looking at the world. And instead of saying, no, you're wrong, it's always like a wrong or right thing. We all do that. But being able for that person to understand and appreciate your insight, okay, just as important as his, that he can share with you, he or she. As time goes on, that's something you'll see is they'll share more and more of themselves with you. He won't be afraid to talk about like his or her own challenges, problems, and fears. Because really being vulnerable is being able to accept things in yourself that aren't perfect or that you feel scared about, That's being vulnerable, okay? It doesn't mean he's going to tell you every single thing, in his life every second of the day, because some things are things we are personally working on or personally thinking about. But, this kind of divine masculine energy, it's not easily manipulated and doesn't try to manipulate you in any way, okay? Trying to make you feel vulnerable or pushing for you to tell every secret you have. Of course, we all have limits, and he or she should respect that. Okay, so that pursuing, like a masculine energy is the action-oriented energy, so it's the pursuer, okay? So not only, I'm not talking about he's pursued you, but this is something, you shouldn't have to chase after this person. If they don't want to be there with you, I'm not saying every second of the day, but if it's hard to get that person to figure out if they want to be with you, a perfect divine masculine energy pursues their own life, okay? But he or she doesn't have that desire to control or influence other people's lives, okay? So like they develop their own interests, their own hobbies, their own goals, and you should as well, okay? And that person should be respectful of that, okay? So it's kind of like the divine masculine energy like believes that life is a gift, and he's comfortable, or he or she is comfortable with their own skin and doing their own thing. They're not always like giving you some guilt trip if you want to, you have a hobby or a goal and they feel that you should be with them all the time. And as far as you as well, you want to give them their space and have your own thing, your own things going on for you that interest you. Not everything should center around that other person, okay? At the same time, if this is somebody that is a good fit for you, he or she, if they have a good divine masculine energy, which I'm getting is needed in your life, let him pursue you, okay? That's like an ultimate divine masculine move, okay? So it's like he or she knows what they want, and they go after it with all of their heart. And heart is the key word here. They're using their heart, okay? Of course, you can you can pursue the other person too, because you got to use your divine masculine energy. But it should be someone that's comfortable going after the things they want in life, not just you, but things they want. It's kind of like they're willing and able to exert that energy to create the best experience for themselves and for you. And you'll know immediately. You'll see that. That's a really clear one. I don't think I mentioned protective yet. That's another divine masculine energy. It's like the divine masculine energy, actually, I know you would think they'd be like, oh, I'm tough and strong, and I don't want to be weak. But that's not really it. It's actually throwing away that whole paradigm of strong and weak. Instead, moving to the role of the protector or guardian over the one he or she loves, okay? It'll be like they'll notice injustices and work hard to balance all unfairness. Like they'll try to be fair as much as possible. They're not a power grabber where they always have to be getting what they want or, being in control, because that just wouldn't be fair. So he wants to be someone that can protect himself around other people. Don't let other people walk all over him or her. And also for you, if this is a good person for you, he's going to... the protectiveness should extend beyond you, but also to your family, to any animals you have in your life, or siblings that you have, brothers and sisters, or even that other person's, their mother and father. They should not just, they should have an interest in wanting to not dominate, or compete with them, but extend their protection, if he's able to, in whatever way that would be. Okay. It doesn't mean that person should be overprotective by being jealous, or attempting to keep other, men or women away from you. But he's just fully aware of his capabilities or her capabilities. And also he or she is in control over what happens to the other beings that he or she loves and cares about. Okay, so it's not overextending. It's, again, finding that balance with realistic expectations of how to protect others so that they feel protected in any way that they need it. Okay, giving is super important. The divine masculine is to be able to give and provide. You'll find that in a lot of male fatherly people. Mothers do it too. But people who have that strong masculine energy, they want to provide for. They just feel a strong sense of that. And that should be partially something that you are looking for, unless you like to be the one to always provide for. But I can tell you this, in most relationships that end, or even if people get married and divorced, the number one thing that always seems to wreck that is when the masculine partner is not providing for, or at least sharing in the role of providing for the family. That causes a lot of conflict. And so it's something to look for. Giving in many ways. And also being able to receive. There are people that they love to give, but they hate to receive, and they push anything you want to do for them away. I've seen that. Some people don't feel like they should ever get anything in return. It's like giving a Christmas present, but not allowing someone to receive. You can give, but you also need to receive. It's very healthy to also receive and be thankful for what you're receiving and accepting of that. Okay, if that makes any sense. So let's see. The masculine energy needs to provide for the feminine, and the feminine needs to receive. Those energies need to receive. It's like a back and forth ebb and flow. Okay. And it's when he can connect to his spiritual higher self, the soul, and receive that intuition, those gut feelings, those gut, like you just know you have a gut feeling that something should happen. Those are actually messages from your intuitive higher self and your guides. Someone who has that great masculine giving energy will be very connected to their intuitive self and messages and rely on them. Sometimes it takes time throughout life as we mature. And also look for someone that's okay with giving to your family, to your friends, if you have any children, that type of thing. Okay, it doesn't mean they have to be the breadwinner, but you want to have someone that, the energy should be one that it at least is trying. You know what I mean? That's a good thing for you to look out for. Action-oriented, I think I mentioned that already, didn't I? I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Because that's the whole thing about the masculine energy is being able to take action in the name of love and for yourself and for the other person. And it's just important that the person isn't stunted in that ability to take steps when they need to. There's some people that sometimes that's how we learn. Sometimes we make the wrong mistakes and we choose the wrong job, or just different things. We choose to be distant from another person, but those lessons can be learned by having a strong divine masculine energy and also balancing that out with your feminine energy. So let's see, how else can I explain this here to you? So like sometimes when you first are in a relationship, like they don't include you in everything and all their plans, but you should be able to see that as time goes on and the relationship grows deeper and deeper with the union, that more of his actions or her actions will be more frequently involving plans and time with you, okay? So, of course, they need to have their outside activities like we discussed, but they also should, as time goes on, include you often and not leave you out, okay? And that would be an action-oriented type of situation. Okay, they like the divine masculine energy is very leading with you and also within the community. It's not a power thing, though. It's not like a controller power thing, but they're leading from a place of love and security. It's where they're not trying to dominate other, divine masculine energies around them or compete with them all the time. He doesn't always have to be at the top of the mountain, but he believes, or he or she believes in the ability of everyone to be a leader with their own natural strengths and talents, and checks his or her ego at the door. So, like, he or she will be able to see that their position as a leader should help others grow and strengthen others to help them lead. Okay, so it's almost like being like a coach, you know what I mean? Rather than being like, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. They're like a coach, you know what I mean? And they're cheering you on as well. So they take on the role of teaching and mentoring to people whenever they ask, okay? And he or she would invest in their people, whether they own a business or whatever, and help build them up. Okay, it's not about just building himself up all the time or herself up. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Also, a boundary setter. That's a very divine masculine energy. They set boundaries not only for you, but also everyone else. And they want to make sure they're setting boundaries so that everyone else is well. He's not like making rules and ordering and then realizing, oh my God, I can't control that person anymore. It's not like that. He or she never controls the actions of others, but he can choose how he responds to them. Do you understand that, what I'm saying? And that is also important for you as well in a relationship. It's not controlling what the other person does, but it's how you respond to it and the actions you take and decide upon as your boundaries, your personal boundaries. Okay, does that make sense to you? I kind of call it like deal breakers, just as a way of understanding what I accept. What is a deal breaker for me personally? Everybody's different. Like some people might be like, well, I can't be with someone that physically or mentally is abusive towards me. Okay, that's a deal breaker. No matter what, that's a deal breaker. It just is. Violence is never good. That's just one example. Everybody has their own, and some people get real nitpicky about deal breakers, and that means you're not using unconditional love at all. And unconditional love is accepting people for whom they are, understanding that they're going to have their differences, they're uniquely them, like I discussed. Okay, so setting boundaries and communicating them to everybody involved. There's just some things that people aren't willing to accept. It could be with anything in life. And one thing, let me think about this for a minute. So if this divine masculine energy, you'll notice if they're still going through their own like healing and their own working on themselves, some things they'll do is they'll try to show it through nonverbal like communication, which might work for them. It could be like stonewalling somebody or just ignoring what they say but doing it anyway. Those aren't really healthy ways of setting boundaries. You really want to let those around you know what your boundaries are. And it could be because maybe you don't want to feel vulnerable in a relationship, and being able to tell them that is like, saying, I just don't feel, I feel vulnerable and it makes me uncomfortable right now. It's something I'm working on. So I don't want to discuss whatever it may be. I'm just trying to think of something that, it's something that you're internally working on. Maybe it's something that you are very uncomfortable about yourself that you've noticed. I'm just trying to think of something in my own life that I've done. I could tell you, like, something for me would be, I've been told that, I always try to tell the other person I'm in a relationship, like, how they feel. And, that's like, the other person might not care for that. Be like, you don't know how I feel, so let me feel what I feel, and set that boundary there in a loving and caring way, okay? All right, so I think, did I cover them all? Let me make sure, because I still have now the second part to this. Yeah, I think I got them all. Okay, so I think that'll give you an idea of what to look for. Another part that's coming through very strongly is this is a really good time for you to know, receiving messages from your guide or your higher self, your soul. This is a really good time for you right now they're going to be sending you signs if you ask for them. So like you asked me to give you, what would things I should look out for. You can also talk to your guardian angel or just your higher self. Our higher self is our soul, and it's like the subconscious part of us. Like we know we're working in tandem with our soul, but like there's a lot of things like we don't know what our soul wants us to do. So one thing you can do is, you could say, higher self, please send me symbols, messages, synchronicities, or even in your dreams, they could send you symbols of things to look for, because it seems to be a really good time as far as relationships go of what you should be looking for to know if this is a person worth investing in the long term, okay? So they're going to be sending you signs, okay? And as long as you ask, you will receive them. Just allow yourself to become more fluent in the language of symbols and oracles like I'm giving you now, and omens, okay? So like when we dream, most of what we dream is like they're symbols. They're like symbols that our higher self is sending us through our dream state, okay? So sometimes you might, say one girl recently had a gray wolf that was in her dream, and it almost devoured her, but it didn't. And so that gray wolf can be a symbol. And you can always do research online and say, what does a gray wolf mean in a dream? What is my subconscious trying to tell me? So watch for these things. Another one that I know, like when we say omen, would be like numbers. I've gone through really a lot of periods where I just happen to look at a clock and it's 11:11, or I go by a sign and it's 11:11, 11:11. So like those are signs for me. That's like my guides telling me that whatever I was just thinking about, I'm on the right track, okay? Yes, that's like giving you a yes, okay? This is what you want an answer to. Yes, you're on the right track. You're on the good track. I don't always get that, like, if I'm not doing the right thing, like 1 for me would not be, oh, don't do this today, or something negative. It's usually always like a positive, like, yes, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing for your soul and who you are on this life path journey that we chose to come here on earth to experience, okay? Or even like another symbol, a really big one. There's simple things in nature. They always are in nature, like a bird flying by. Say the bird flies by very close to you, and it's a blue jay, or like a cardinal. You can also look up, birds are messengers. The symbol of a bird is usually a message to you. And you can also do research online too, like, a cardinal. I saw a cardinal. What does it symbolize? Another one, it could be even like a license plate. You keep, like, there's a name on that license plate or something, or numbers that mean something to you, and they pop up. I know right after my dog Remington passed away, I was just devastated, and my significant other said, hey, let's go to Tennessee and, like, just take some time away. We'll stay in a cabin somewhere. And so I'm like, okay, that sounded like a good idea. And I was thinking about him, like, my dog, the whole way there. He was in my life for 14 years and truly, like, basically a son to me. So I know as we were driving there, I happened to look up at one of the highway signs, and it said Remington right on the sign. And it's just like those little signs that make you, like, know, like, they're there for you, and they love you, or just whatever it is for you. In your case would be letting you know that this is the right person for you. Just watch for those things. They're going to point you in the right direction. It could be a song on the radio, a logo on a truck, anything that you keep, feels like a connection. But watch for those, okay? They come up a lot in life if we pay attention, okay? And keep your ears open too. Something somebody might say. They might just say the right thing. That person might just say the right thing after this reading. You're like, yeah, that was one of those things I should be looking out for as a positive or a negative thing. Will just come up, and that's showing that, Spirit hears you. Your guides hear you, and we all have guides working with us on the other side. This could be loved ones that have passed away. These could be our pets who have passed away. These could just be higher level guides. There's archangels that we can talk to. We can talk to God. We can talk to Jesus. I mean, whoever it is, there's so many. I have many, many guides, and you do too. And you just ask them, like, say, hey, I know you're there, and I just want some more advice. Send me some signs that let me know what I should be looking out for with this person. And maybe you could say, and this will verify the reading I had with Lisa then too, some of the things that she discussed, or whatever you want to do, okay? Like, this is a really good time for you, like, for you in relationships. So, like, you're going to receive some positive news, I feel, with this person you're in relationship with. They're either going to speak it to you, they're going to send it as an email or a text. It's like really good time for you to receive this message to confirm what you already know one way or another with this person, okay? Whether this is good or bad. But it feels like only good will come of whatever your situation is in the end. The signs are all there, Joanne. Just look for them, and rely on them coming from your higher self and your guides. Okay, so now the last part of this I want to give you, and this is for the Divine Masculine card, number 10, that I sent you the picture of. Now, this is coming from the book, because there's always a book that comes with the cards. Okay, so I'm going to read this to you. It says, as empowering energy seeks expression from within, it wishes to free you from confusion, paralysis, and stagnancy. It seeks to stir you into consciously choosing an action, greater discipline, and focus. It's time to end the frustration of repeating old patterns. Okay, that's key there. Repeating those old patterns and taking action to not repeat them, whether that means for you to take action in yourself and how you are, or you to take action and not be in a relationship with that type of person. Okay, it says you are ready to break through into a new way of life. Feel inspired, be energized, and focus on your dreams and desires, okay? Your own personal dreams and desires. Take steps to manifest them on the physical plane. Believe your success is inevitable. The Divine Masculine in you knows when to accept and when to say no to a belief, fear, habit, person, or situation. This Divine Masculine energy exists within all of us, okay? All men and all women. rallies the spirit and responds in time when you may feel drained or taken advantage of or overwhelmed by too many choices and demands. It cuts through the confusion that comes with choice and priority setting. It refuses to be distracted and keeps you from being dissuaded from your life's purpose. So it's always going to like nag at you. It's always going to let you know through, situations that come up that you need to work on whatever this is that is distracting you or draining you or whatever it is, okay? The divine masculine is growing within you now, okay? It is a spiritual light that reveals the truth without filters or veils. So this is like the divine masculine will give you those answers you're seeking without any filters or veils. It'll give you very clear answers if you rely on your own masculine energy. Let this energy clear distractions, demands, and drama from your life. Let it help you discern what is best for you and give you the courage to take action on it. Let it help you sort out what is true from what is illusion. Let it help you dedicate your time and energy to what has most meaning for you. It will empower you to claim success in what matters most to you. So not only will this masculine energy help you in relationship, but it will also help you with personal areas of your life that will help you feel empowered, okay? The divine masculine overcomes procrastination. It acts again and again in accordance with the heart. Divine masculine energy empowers each leading light to lovingly assert him or herself in the world. It supports us in standing up for what has meaning to the heart while lovingly but firmly saying no when we need to do so. Do not minimize your inner divine masculine. Whether you be a man or a woman. Nourish it. However, if your masculine energy has been trapped in the wounds of your ancestors, this energy may demand absolute perfection before you believe you are worthy of love. He may even be violent towards you, perhaps keeping you from saying no to violent relationships or self-harming through overexercising or denying your body good nutrition or rest, okay? Or by ignoring your feelings, vulnerabilities, and intuitive wisdom. And so it's all those things I just mentioned to you for your partner, but it's also for you as well, okay? This energy may need healing from your inner divine feminine to be loved, to be valuable, to be worthy, needed, and respected. Then the inner hurt, I don't know, it's a word I've never heard before, misogynis, never heard that word, will fall away as a new empowered divine masculine asserts itself within you. Learn to trust this part of yourself. Let him become strong in you. He can be your guide. This energy, this masculine energy can be your guide, your protector, your defender. So here's another point I want to mention. Not only are you looking for these traits in another, but you must build them up within yourself because you never should have to rely on anybody, okay? So just keep that in mind, okay? All right, let me see, where did I go now here? So you need to be the defender. You need to be the protector of yourself, okay? So so trust that energy, your masculine energy, when it says to you, you are ready for this, and encourages you to act. So that part where I said about the messages, symbols, signs, message in a bottle type thing, watch for those within yourself from that masculine energy, okay? They're going to encourage that energy, or that guide who has that masculine energy within you is going to encourage you to take action and let you know that you are ready. You're ready for something. Maybe it's ready for yourself to be independent, for yourself to be self-empowered, for yourself to be courageous because something isn't right in your life, okay? Or it could be that you are ready to have someone give you protection and allow you to still be you, but be protected, okay? Or whatever those divine masculine traits are in another, okay? So it works both ways, okay? Your inner divine masculine will help you shine your light without fear, so others can also find their way through darkness into love. So whatever you're going to do to build yourself up here with those traits, you're going to be like a role model for others that you're in relationship with, that you're friends with, that your family members, okay? So this is what the book is asking you to do to wake up that masculine energy and get in touch with it. So here it is for you. This is what you should say in your mind or out loud. I call upon the unconditional, loving, divine masculine within me. I respect, honor, and need you. I release past pain and how we related to each other. We are blessed with divine love and healing now. Help me to have the courage and self-belief to live my truths and be open about who I am. I honor your strength and power within me. I know that for every dream the divine has placed in my heart, so too has equal measure of confidence, intelligence, strength, and capacity been placed in my soul. I choose to have the courage of my convictions and to journey within to find whatever I need to bring my light fully to the world. May all beings be supported in overcoming pain relating to the masculine principle. May all beings restore, heal, love, and respect him and his divine purpose in the spiritual evolution of humanity. And boy, do we need that right now. Through my own free will, I will invite unconditional love to assist with this process for myself and for all beings. And so it is. So that is something to focus on if you so choose to. Working on ourselves and our energies is so important for our own journey in the at this time on the planet. So Joanne, I hope this helped you, and however it was meant to help you. Let me know if it resonated with you in any way, if it makes sense right now, or what, because I like to hear the feedback, and it helps me grow as someone who's doing intuitive work. So thank you again. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.